Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the webinar. We got some cool stuff going here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so we are about ready to get started. This is a webinar on how to run an IPS session. So we're really excited to have you here. Just some housekeeping stuff. We're going to go live on Facebook too. So we'll be going live on the Fundy Software page and then sharing into the Storyteller group and my personal page. So if you see that in your feed, please share that. There is a question and answers panel here. So if you have any questions, please post your questions there. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and hit the share on Facebook. We'll get Facebook Live up and running, and then we will get going. All right, give me just a second here. There we go. And we are now going live on Facebook. So thank you everybody for joining our webinar today on how to do an IPS session in Fundy Designer. And today we're going to go through basically the steps of a successful IPS session. These steps were built in Fundy Designer all around. So these steps were built around all of the education that we've received from our Fundy storytellers, all of their experience, some great people out there teaching about IPS, whether you're a member of IPS Mastermind or Intuition to Succeed, or any of these groups that are learning how to do better with in-person sales. We did a great recording with Lori Nordstrom recently that we'll be pushing out on all of our social channels about all of the steps that go into IPS. So, but here we're going to concentrate just on the software. So I have an album design. I've got some wall art design here. And so the key thing to remember is that no matter if you're selling a wedding album, portrait album, portrait wall art, the fundamental steps are the same. So a couple weeks ago, we did a webinar. Let me go ahead and kill my video feed for just a moment. So a couple weeks ago, we did a webinar on how to set up your IPS. So if you weren't able to watch that, just remember that under client orders, you can edit your product pricing. This is where you can put in your album pricing, card pricing, etc. And we'll see that as we go through. If you'd like some help doing that, go to our tutorials page, and it will pop open our tutorials page on our website. And as we scroll down here, IPS sales orders pricing setup, right here, click on this link, and then you'll see a quick overview, how to set up your pricing and logo, how to set up collection composite pricing, how to create your client order, etc. So that will walk you through everything you need to know to set up your IPS. So go ahead and watch that. Now, let's go through the steps of an IPS. So I highly recommend that you pre-design everything. With the new auto designs in Fundy Designer, with the new design sets, you can design an album and wall art and a card in 15 minutes for your clients. So even if you're doing same-day reveals, you can really knock out some designs to sell. The reason being is that I consider, the old school way of doing things to show the clients their images, have them choose their favorites, and then go through and build that out together, which you can still do. So if you want to do it that way. But with busy clients, like for example, I just bought a car this last weekend, and I only go to one dealership because I have friends there, because I can just say, hey, I just want to get this done. I don't care. Let's agree on a price, and then let's get this knocked out. And I want to be in and out of there. So people are busy. They don't want to sit around all day and do this stuff. So the more work we can do for them, the more service we can give them, the better. So let's go ahead and open up the slideshow. So under slideshow, I'm going to create a slideshow. And you can have the title of the slideshow. Let's go ahead and scroll down to some of the songs here. I'm going to do the Fundy Family song. Oops. Let me just a second. Let me go ahead and turn view. So there we go. That's hopefully that is going to work. I know you're probably getting some flickering there. Hey, Jack, can you tell me if this is flickering or not here? So let's go ahead and for images, I'm just going to do the favorites. I have like 5 or 6 favorite photos in here that I've marked with the favorite key, which you can do with the heart icon by clicking the heart icon, or you can also use the F key. For album, I'm going to choose the album because I want to show the album, and then I have some galleries here with wall art. Let's go ahead and choose the wall art gallery, and then I have also designed a card. So I have everything set up here. My text is going to be in white, my background color black. Here is the logo set up for Elan Studios of Tracy Sweeney. Now for the album spreads, I'm going to do about 2.5 seconds. Images, I'm going to bring this down to about 1.7. For the gallery, I'm going to leave that a little bit longer, 2.8. And then the card will go a little faster and bring that down to 2.5. So now I can save that so that when I get ready to show the client, we're all ready to go. So if, maybe the client's getting ready to come in. I want to just have one favorite photo up. They come in, la, la, la. Or I can click play slideshow. And then it will open up to that title page that you've set up. So again, let's take a look at that. So I've set up my slideshow. Before the client comes in, I can just have play slideshow set up. And they will walk into the screen and can have whatever message you want, your images, blah, blah, blah. And then when they're ready, I can hit the space bar for the play to start. So now it's playing you probably can't hear the music, but it's playing the music. It's going through these favorite photos. And I'll let it get through these photos, and then I'll show you the start of the album, and then we'll go ahead and exit out. And then I know a lot of people are using very high screen monitors, and the proxy images maybe aren't quite big enough. We're going to have an update in the summer that's going to make those even clearer for you. Here's the album design. So we're going into the album design. Right? And you'll notice that that's slowed down because I slowed down the timing on the album design because it's a little bit more to take in. And then it will go into the wall art and the cards, etc. So that's how you set up the slideshow. And the slideshow really is that first step to engage the client in being attached emotionally to the images. So there we go, right? So there's the slideshow. And then from there, we can ask if they want to add that album to the order, whatever they want to do. Now, if you would like at that stage, you can always click this button. If you would like at that stage to get the client favorites, you can click this button, and this will open our client view. And then in this view, we can use our arrows, our arrow keys right and left, and our up arrow will favorite that and move to the next one. Our down arrow will unfavorite and move to the next one, or we can use the F key on our keyboard to toggle that favorites on and off. And that's a binary yes or no. Do you love this and want it in print or not? Now, alternatively, some people like to use the star ratings, which are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your keyboard. So I'm going to hit 5, and we have 5 stars. 0 will be 0 stars, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star. So if you like to do a yes, no, maybe, or something like that, you can use those star ratings and do the same thing. So that's how you rate. And then up here, we have our different views. We have the grid view, the film strip view, and then the compare view. And the compare view allows you to compare 2 different images. I can click on this photo here, and then I can click on this photo up here and choose that one. And then I can compare which one I want. If you want to see the expression on the face, we can zoom in a little bit, and then I can just click on the favorite or the stars, letting to denote which ones the client likes best. And then this view is actually the view of the design you have open, whether that be the wall art or the album or the card. And I can use my right and left arrows to arrow through these designs. So the key thing to know about these icons here is that they're also activated on your keyboard. So if we use the Shift button and we use Z, X, C, and V, which are just the next four keys next to your Shift. Right? See that? So you can either use the icons by clicking, or you can use your keyboard. So now let's say you want to filter down to just the favorites. You can filter down to just the favorites. And then here are all of our favorites. And then you can design from there. So let's go ahead and close this. And one thing I forgot to mention that we went over in the last webinar is that you can share this screen with your clients, or I can take this window and put it on my monitor. And then this window with all of this information is a completely separate window. So I can move that over onto my projector or TV or second monitor so that my clients can only view this window. And what that does is it gives them a cleaner view of all of these items while allowing me to see the more messy view with all the icons for design, etc. So let's say we're going through this album. Let's say they love it, and we're ready to add that to the order. So where are the client orders? So let's go ahead under this orders tab. We can find the client order. And here we find how to add things to the client order. So I already have an order built here. I won't worry about deleting these because you can have multiple orders. So this multiple order thing can be very useful for shoots where you have mom and dad come in, and then maybe grandma and grandpa, and then maybe a different grandma and grandpa. You don't have to worry about building out separate projects for each client. I can just click add order here, and then I have another order, and I can make this the grandma order, for example. So now we have the grandma order. And remember that with the albums, etc., we can click on this duplicate button. I can duplicate that album. So maybe this is the album that mom likes. I can duplicate that and then put in some photos that maybe grandma likes differently. So now let's get down to the ordering process. How do we create a client order? So we have the order here. How do we add things to the order? I click add album, and I'm going to choose the album, which I titled album, and it will automatically pull up the pricing options that you have created in your client orders pricing tab, right? So for example, this portrait album is, I believe I have it set up to $1,000 to be that base album price, and then $100 extra per page. And I set the base album to have 20 pages. So 2 times, okay, I set the extra page for 50, sorry. So 2 extra pages times $50 is $100 extra beyond the base. So there's my total. Or I also have a portrait album pricing set up based on images, right? Where I have the base price of the album is $0, but it costs $100 per photo to have in the album. So base is 0, extra is $2,600, total is $2,600. Now the clients are only going to get this total added in. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. But before I do, let's make a note. Maybe they want the blue linen album. So these are notes that I can put in for myself or for my studio manager that they can read on that order form. So I'm going to go ahead and click add. Now we notice that that album's there. We get a beautiful thumbnail. Now let's go ahead and move on to the wall art. So I'm going to go ahead and open the wall art here. All right, here we have some wall art. I'm showing off some composites here. So a composite, remember, is one item. So I have a canvas wrap here. This is one canvas wrap with 9 images in it. Now, if they decide that they want to order that, I can add this to an order in multiple ways. I can click this little plus button here. I can go to client orders. I can say add gallery to client order. Or in the client view, when we're in the design view, we can also click this little plus button here. They all do exactly the same thing. So let's go ahead and add that. So here's my room, my wall art, room 7. Here we go. Let's make some notes. Maybe, retouch hair in top left photo. Now I haven't added pricing for these options right here. So, but if I had, it would automatically pull up the pricing and place it in there for me. So remember, if as you're setting up your pricing, I'm going to save this to my composites just to show you how it kind of works. Sample composite, and let's make this $1,500. I'm going to save that. So here we see it right there. So now, since I've saved that, if I add this to my order, you'll notice that it pulls up that pricing automatically. So I don't have to worry about adding that in there. So let's go ahead and check our client order, see how it's going, right? Here's my album, here's my gallery. So I've ordered that gallery. Now let's take a look at the card. So the clients want to see their card. Let's go ahead and pull up this card. Excuse me. All right, so I pre-designed this card. Maybe they want to swap out a photo. Maybe they like this photo better here, and they want to put that photo there, and whoa, and that photo there. On the back, we have our logo. You can add some text here. Maybe you want to have your logo website and stuff. So the key thing to remember is that all cards should have logos, because clients are going to send these cards to all of their friends and family, and they're going to see the logo. So let's go ahead and add some text here. So I'm going to bring this down here. Let's edit this. So oops, 555, 555. All right, so I'm going to put the website, put the phone number, and then for the font, let's pull up our fonts. Remember that you can favorite your fonts. So let's go ahead and I'm going to do Helvetica New. This is for Allie. She was talking about how much she hates Helvetica, and I was really, really shocked because I think Helvetica is one of the best fonts of all time. So next time you see Allie, make sure you tell her that Helvetica is awesome. I'm also going to match that gray right there. There we go. So that looks a little light on screen, but I think it's going to print really nice. So adding a card is the same. You can use any of the plus buttons, or under the client orders, we can add card to client order. So I'm going to pull up this card here. And then I have a couple pricing setups. I have a set of 25 cards. Maybe they want to order 3 sets of 25. So I can do that. Price per individual is here, or maybe you price per single card. So maybe they want 150 cards at $2 a piece. So however you want to price your cards, you can do that again in the client, edit client product pricing. Let's go ahead and add that. Did I not add that correctly? There we go. There we go. Not sure what happened there. So that is in there. So now let's look at prints. So maybe we want to order some 5x7 prints here. So let's go ahead and add some prints. You can enable and disable only the sizes and prices you offer. You can use this to flip vertical and horizontal. And then you can make notes here also. Let's order 2 of these, 1 for each set of grandparents. And so now we have prints in there also. Now, one of the things I'd like to look at is that, you have probably seen, let me filter down to all of these photos. So you have probably seen some of these beautiful matted boxes that people are selling. So how can we sell those in Fundy Designer? Super easy. So this add other bucket is basically for any product that doesn't actually need to be designed, right? You don't need to design matted boxes because it's a print in a box. Pretty easy to imagine for the client. They don't need to preview that. So I'm going to go ahead and click add other, and matted print box, $1,000. So 10 matted prints, right? So I'm going to add that. And then let's say they want to order, let's see, these are the 10 prints that they want to put in there. But then they're like, you know what? I really want to add these 2 also. So let's go ahead and add other. I have a product called extra matted prints. So I'm going to hit 2 because they want 2 extra. We'll put that under there. And then these 2 photos right here will drop into there. Right. So there we go. So this is our full order that's done and ready to go. So now I'm going to click view order, and this is going to pull up our PDF, right? So you can put in the client name, date. We can save this and export this. Here you can set up your, maybe they have a credit. Maybe they have a $500 credit from their shoot or a gift certificate or something. I can add that in there. Taxes, I live in Oregon. There's no state taxes, which is pretty awesome, except when our property tax arrives. The property tax is no bueno. But you can put in your taxes if you live in the UK, EU, etc. Under the client orders product pricing, again, you can change this to VAT. You can change the percentages. You can change this to a pound sign, euro sign, etc., whatever you'd like that to be. And also, you can set up your no take backs clause, whatever your legalese, your requirements for your client saying, hey, all orders are final, etc. You can set that up in the same area. We can save this as a PDF. You can use Adobe Acrobat or something to sign this. And then, or you can export this PDF and then you can print that off and have them sign it manually. You can print out an extra copy for production, right? So they have, so they know what's going into this. Right. So now let's talk about retouching, right? So maybe you want to go back into Lightroom, or maybe you want to retouch the photos in Fundy using the retouching option, or maybe you want to edit these in Photoshop or something. How do we do that? So client order's done, everything's signed, client leaves, right? We can export these others ready. We can export these for print. We'll crop all of these. When you go into Album Builder, or let's go into Card Designer, right? We need to order this card. So we can order this card, or we can do a direct print lab order. So we're exporting things ready for print, but before that, maybe we want to do some retouching. So there's a few different ways we can do that. We can filter down to images used in project. So these are all the images used in this project that need to be retouched before they go out. Let's go ahead and double click on this one. These are little kids. They probably don't need much retouching. So I'm not being a jerk by retouching these. I just want to show you the functionality. So maybe we do healthy glow, right? And it's just going to give a little retouching, or maybe we do full coverage. It's just going to brighten the eyes, clean up the skin a little bit. And maybe we like that setting, so I can select all, and then I can select sync, and it's going to sync. See, it's syncing those same settings across that. So for a wedding, for a family portrait, being able to do this retouching in here takes 5 minutes to retouch an entire session. Super duper awesome. And you just let the Fundy Designer do its thing. We're using Perfectly Clear. They have like 8 million patents on all of the retouching. So super, super easy and pretty cool. So you see we're done syncing there. If you're syncing, if you're syncing 500 images, it might take a while. So hit the sync button, go grab a cup of coffee, come back, it'll be done. But what if you want to retouch all of the photos that you've used in Lightroom? You want to go back into Lightroom. So what you can do is under Images, copy retouching list for Lightroom, and it's going to give you a pop-up. And I'm going to copy that, and then you can take this set, and then you can paste that into Lightroom, and it gives you instructions on how to do that right up here. And then you can just retouch all of those photos in Lightroom, maybe adjust the exposure, etc. And then when you're done, hit export, and you can either overwrite the original JPEGs or put them into a new folder. If you put them into a new folder, just remember to go to Images, Resync Images before you export your designs, so that Fundy Designer is pulling those retouched images when it's exporting those files for design. Now, let's say you want to do your retouching in an external program like Photoshop or something. Simply click Export Images for retouching, and we're going to make exact duplicates of those for you into a new folder. And then maybe you just need a list of images in use for production. You can export that as a CSV file that'll open up in Excel or anything like that, Mac numbers. And that'll just give you a list of photos that were used in the order, so that your client, so your production staff can reference those. All right, I think I've gone through everything here. It's a great half hour. Do you have any questions? Let me pop the video back on here real quick. And then Jack, over there, can you pop in here and let me know if there's any questions that need to be answered before we sign off? This webinar is being saved. We're going to put it on YouTube, and also it will live on forever on Facebook, because that's how things live. So thanks, guys. Let me pull this over here. Thanks, everybody, for attending. Behind me, awesome image from the Harris Co. So I hope that helped everybody. Very smooth webinar. Thanks for attending. If you need any help, always remember that you can get help under the help menu, not ironically. So go to tutorials for all of your video tutorials. These are walkthroughs, covers most of the broad basic fundamentals of the program. You can go to manuals. These manuals are searchable. They have pretty pictures, so it's not all words. So don't worry, I know us photographers don't like a lot of words. And you can open up your keyboard shortcuts. This walks you through those keyboard shortcuts. And then if you're really, really stuck, or your software is deciding to explode, you can always contact support. So thank you very much for attending, and I will see you guys next week. Always remember, go to fundy.com/webinars to sign up for any upcoming webinars. Fundy.com/webinars for all of your upcoming webinars, or to rewatch a past webinar you may have missed. Thanks, guys.